Drill 8 Single Arm Backstroke. On this video, the swimmer is using a pull buoy to enhance the difficulty of the drill. On this drill, always ensure that the movement patterns are followed in full, with hips, shoulders and hands recovering in that order. This drill must be performed slowly with perfection and not rushed. Try to ensure that the swimmer develops both sides to be equal, ensuring balance of stroke and core strength. The swimmer should perform the drill, developing their weaker side with a strong catch and propulsive phase. Distance per stroke could be used to monitor this. How many pulls on the right or left arm does it take to complete 25 meters? Once the technique is correct, you may consider using paddles only on the weaker side to develop strength, this ensuring you make faster gains on your weaker side.
Behind the back stretch with fists. Standing with feet hip to shoulder width apart, feet facing forward, pelvis in neutral position. Bring the fists together behind the small of the back. Elbows are drawn back to increase the stretch across the chest and front of the shoulders. The shoulders are always set back and down along the spine into a neutral position. The swimmer should keep their head looking forward and in a neutral position. Maintain a spinal neutral position at all times, reducing arching of the lumbar spine and flaring of the lower ribs. Suicide chair 1. 4-point kneeling position in front of bench, hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. The trailing leg is raised to the rear with the lower leg resting against the bench. The knee of the trailing leg must be away from the bench. The leading leg steps through to the outside of the hand on the same side. The knee of the leading leg must be directly above the ankle. The swimmer adopts a neutral spine and a strong lumbopelvic position by bracing the glute on the side of the trailing leg. To increase the intensity of the stretch, the hips are pushed forward. Athletic position, shoulder-hip dissociation. The swimmer adopts an athletic stance. There are positive angles at the ankles, knees and hips. Whilst keeping the hips facing forward, the swimmer must fully rotate the shoulders with as little resistance from the hips and head as possible. The hips and head are held in a neutral position during this portion of the movement. In turn, the shoulders and head remain fixed, with the goal of the second part of the movement is for the hips to rotate through full range with little resistance from the shoulders. The purpose behind this dissociation is for the swimmer to be able to fix a stable position but allow another structure or limb to move freely. The feet are shoulder width apart with the spine in a long neutral position. Plank trunk rotation. In a 4-point plank position, the swimmer adopts a strong neutral spine with shoulders and hips parallel to the ground. The goal is for the swimmer to move the trunk freely of the hips and head. The swimmer will need to fully rotate the trunk to one side without compromising the neutral position of the hips and head. The elbows are to be positioned below the shoulders, with feet hip width apart. The legs are to be straight, with your weight pushing back through the heels. Streamline glute bridge spinal wave. Feet are drawn towards the glutes and are set hip width apart. lower back is initially set into a neutral position and pushed into the floor. The focus is for the weight to be pushed through the heels as the hips are raised and lowered to the ground. During the ascent of the movement phase, the spine is curled from the floor as if to peel each vertebrae, beginning from the pelvis, working up through the lumbar spine, and then into the mid-back until the hips are fully raised in the air. During the descent, this movement is reversed in a wave-like action, beginning at the upper back and then curling back down vertebrae by vertebrae through the lumbar spine until the sacrum is flat on the floor.